Hi, my name is Niharika. Today we are presenting the topic connected vehicle technology. My friend Bhumika started over and she has taken through the introduction of this topic. I would like to continue it from here. So connected vehicle technology is a concept where your car talks to other cars and to the traffic lights and to other roadside devices, and also the roadway talks to your car too. So a lot of information exchange is happening here. So this vehicle-based transportation technology innovation, this has been made possible through the use of intelligent transportation systems, global positioning systems, and in-vehicle safety systems. So together IT and telecommunication standards and protocols underlying these ITS, GPS, and in-vehicle technologies, all these have become the framework for a newer connected technology which is called as connected vehicle technology. Let us look how this actually works. So the safety related systems for connected vehicle technology is based on dedicated short range communications. So this is in short called as DSRS, and this technology is similar to Wi-Fi, and DSRS is fast, secure and reliable. All the automobiles like cars, trucks, buses and all the other vehicles will be able to talk to each other with in-vehicle or aftermarket devices such as mobiles that continuously share important safety and mobility information with each other. And it uses the same system also to talk to the traffic signals, work zones, toll booths, school zones and other types of infrastructure. So the CV technology, it enables the exchange of anonymous. That means it doesn't exchange the information of the driver. So it only exchange the vehicle-based data, which is like the position of the vehicle, the speed of the vehicle, and the location. So the vehicle-to-vehicle communications enable a vehicle to detect the threats and the hazards with a 360-degree awareness of the position of the other vehicles. And also it will help to identify the threats and the hazards the other vehicles are going to present. And it also helps to calculate the risks and issue driver advisors or warnings, and also take the preemptive actions to avoid and mitigate the crashes. So here is a small image that shows how the CV system works. The CV system vehicle, it has a GPS or a DSRC antenna, and it also has a dedicated short range communications which I mentioned earlier, which is similar to Wi-Fi, and this system is basically responsible for receiving and transmitting information from the other vehicles or to the other vehicles. And it also has a GPS receiver which provides the information and information about the positions of all the other vehicles. And it has a safety application electronic control unit, and this unit runs safety applications. So this system, it interacts with the DSRC and also it interacts with the GPS receiver, and based on this information, like the GPS receiver provides the information on the position of the vehicle, where the vehicle, whether the vehicle is in the blind area or if the vehicle is changing the lane, such kind of information. So based on this information it gathers from the systems and the transmission from this DSRC system and the GPS receiver, it creates alerts or the warnings to the drivers, and that is present to the driver through the driver vehicle interface. And all the existing network that interconnects all these components is handled by the vehicle's internal communications network. So this is the internal system of the vehicle that is supporting the CV system. So what are the different kinds of communications that happens in the system? Let us look into that. The first one is a vehicle-to-vehicle communication. Here cars will talk to other cars and automatically they transmit data such as the speed, position and direction, and send the alerts to each other if the crash seems imminent. So what kind of warnings does the share? We can look into that, like the forward crash warning, emergency brake light, if someone is if someone is in the blind spot area, it's called the blind spot warning, or the lane change warning, or the intersection assist, or do not pass warnings. All this kind of warnings is given by interacting with the other vehicles, or when a vehicle ahead is applying the brakes suddenly. And so on the road the cars will talk to each other, and they, as I mentioned, they automatically transmit all these kinds of informations with each other. And coming to the vehicle to infrastructure communication, so to the infrastructure, the vehicle provides all the information such as speed, heading, acceleration, GPS position, wipers on and off, and many other information, many other informations. And this the infrastructure takes all this information, and it helps the other drivers, it helps the other vehicles by giving this information, so that they can respond or take necessary actions. And coming to the third type of communication is the infrastructure to vehicle communication. As I mentioned just above, collecting the vehicles from the collecting the information from all the other vehicles, the infrastructure such as the traffic signal and gives information to the vehicles, the broadcast traffic signal timing, or broadcasting safety alerts such as weather or work zones. So they'll talk to sensors on signs on stop lights, bus stops, even once embedded in the roads to get traffic updates and rerouting the alerts. We can also see the image that is present here. There's a small congestion happened there, and the driver who is following behind has the information about it, because the infrastructure has given him the information. And the infrastructure near the congestion has collected the information from the vehicles that there's a congestion happened over there. So as I discussed so far, a lot of information exchange is happening here. So a continuous update of the data and continuous transfer of the data is happening in this process. So what handles all this data? Here definitely we need cloud. So a cloud handles a lot of data, and it provides sophisticated processing and analytical capabilities. So here the cloud is a central hub where all of this quickly changing information will pass through. It will provide the platform for making sense of this data. And the cloud is also the home for building and developing the apps and programs used by cars on the road. So what does all this add up practically? We can explain this by a small example. A car linked to the cloud, tapping into your apps, devices, and preferences can tailor the driving experience to you. So when you're getting up in the morning, and when you're going out in the morning, your car will link to the cloud and check your weather and check your calendar, to-do list, and the traffic to help you plan your route for the day. And also it reroutes the traffic when you're on your way, and if you're falling behind the schedule, or you're running into the traffic. And also it suggests you a rental car in case your car breaks down, and the rental car automatically adjusts to your preferences, identifying the driver, and or getting an update from your calendar and lining up your iTunes playlist. So that's how a cloud handles all the data. We have also heard of automated vehicles. We heard of automated vehicle from the Google self-driving car, which is still in research, and a lot of testing is going on the Google self-driving car in the Mountain View in California. So we might here think that probably automated vehicles are also the connected vehicles, but connected vehicles and automated vehicles are two completely different technologies. Though some of the challenges they present to transportation agencies will be similar, these two technologies may converge or diverge from each other based largely on developments in the private sector. So fully automated vehicles, or we also call them self-driving vehicles, they are actually defined as those in which the operation of the vehicle occurs without a driver, input to control the steering, acceleration, and braking, and are designed so that the driver is not expected to constantly monitor the road while operating in self-driving mode. So we can think that, but in a self-driving car, it doesn't communicate with any other vehicles. It doesn't have this technology, or it doesn't communicate with the infrastructure. But a connected vehicle can be a self-driving car sometime in future, but self-driving car is different from the connected vehicle. So the Department of Transportation's National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, which is also called as the NHTSA, it defined vehicle automation into 5 levels. So the higher the level, the more automated the vehicle is. So we can look into the 5 levels of automation. The first one is no automation, which is also called as level 0. Here the driver is in complete and sole control of the primary vehicle controls like the brake, steering, throttle and motive power all the times. The second level, the first level is the function specific automation. So automation at this level involves one or more specific control functions. Examples include electronic stability control or pre-charged brakes, where the vehicle automatically assists with braking to enable the driver to regain control or of the vehicle or stop faster than possible by acting alone. The third one is combined function automation, which is level 2. So this level involves automation of at least 2 primary control functions. So designed to work in unison to relieve the driver of control of those functionalities. An example of combined functions enabling a level 2 system is adaptive cruise control in combination with lane centering. And the next one is level 3, limited self-driving automation. Vehicles at this level of automation enable the driver to cede full control of all safety critical functions under certain traffic or environmental conditions. In those conditions, to rely heavily on the vehicle to monitor for changes in those conditions requiring transition brake to driver control. So the driver is expected to be available for occasional control but with sufficiently comfortable transition time. The second generation Google car is an example of this limited self-driving automation, level 3. So last is a level 4, full self-driving automation. The vehicle is designed to perform all safety critical driving functions and monitor roadway conditions for an entire trip. Such a design anticipates that the driver will provide destination or navigation input but is not expected to be available for control at any time during the trip. This includes both occupied and unoccupied vehicles. The third generation Google car is an example of self-driving automation, while the second generation Google car is an example of limited self-driving. So vehicles with the level 4 automation may also be referred to autonomous vehicles. So of these 5 technologies, of these 5 automation levels, only the level 2 is currently available to public, and level 4 testing is still going on. The researching, developing and testing of level 4 automation technologies on the public roads in certain states are still going on. As we are aware that Google is still working on its self-driving car, and it is expected to release in between 2017 to 2020. So here we can also see a connected city. So implementing this concept on a city would build a smarter city and a state. The city of Boston and IBM are working together on this concept. So here we can see in this diagram the buildings, traffic, airport, physical assets, special events, water, everything is benefited by applying this concept of connected city. We don't want to go deep in this on this since our topic is on connected vehicle technology. My friend Fanny will take it over from here. Thank you.
Hi, introducing myself. I'm Fanindra and I'm here to continue our work on connected vehicle technology. So the following are the applications useful for connected vehicle technology. MobiWave TM onboard equipment, the first one on our list, is designed to address the needs of connected vehicle technology by supporting a variety of automotive safety and commercial applications. And then talking about the StreetWave roadside unit. So when imagine that you are going on a toll road and just you got the message from your banker saying that you have been charged $2 for the toll payment. How easy it is compared to going online and entering the payment details and all. So this type of application can be done by using this technology. It is just like a router on a home, which can be fixed on the roadside traffic pole. So it is designed as a flexible platform for deploying intelligent transport systems. So it makes the e-payment applications easy and improves mobility and safety on the roadways. And then talking about the Locomet Commando, so it is an integration of GPS, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So it allows vehicles to talk to other vehicles as well as the roadside units as the StreetWave. So it can be used in highly dramatic weather conditions, which is the best that it can offer. It is used in the worldwide deployments, including US Departments of Transportation Safety. So the rugged enclosure option is used for special outdoor roadside unit deployment for like trucking, busing, and even in the military applications. So some product applications include, but not limited to, the signal coordinations, emergency vehicle management, and train crossing and tolling. So then comes our favorite part, smart apps. With the emerging mobile market, the application designers are designing the apps to integrate with the vehicles, and many of us know about the Waze app, right? So that tells us that if there is a police on our way, it'll alert that there is a police on our way. So one application is shown in figure, that is Savari's Smart Cross, so which enables pedestrians and other motor vehicles so in order to safely cross the intersections. So some of the other applications include Spot Listener as well as the vehicle collision warning system. So just looking at the picture, we can easily say that with this technology, the driving will be easier, safer, and also funful. So talking about the advantages of the connected vehicle technology, here are some. So consider using your mobile and you're losing your car, which is easy to find. Of course, mobile, as it is connected, apply the same application to the cars. The owner can use this service to locate the vehicle. And it is not limited to this, but there are many other advantages. Like we all know about the air pollution, and according to 2012 environmental survey, majority of air pollution comes from stagnated vehicle traffic. By using this technology, we can reduce this and so the air pollution. So by using the CV technology, one can reduce uncertainty in travel times, as we can assess the exact travel time on all the routes. So here are some more advantages of the CV technology. The first thing in our list is crash elimination. So like this one, we can assess the distance between the cars, and the crash limit, crash-free driving and improved vehicle safety could change the concept of vehicle as we know it. So the crash. So whenever there is a positive thing about something, there will be a negative thing. So here are the disadvantages of the CV technology. So the safety is a little concerned here. So the hacking and all can be easily done with the connected technology. So the future research should be more focused towards the safety. And then regarding the car dealers and all, they have to be tech savvy. And car dealers have a bad reputation when it comes to explain the technical details to the consumers. So the car dealers should be tech savvy, and that they should teach customers how to use their car's advanced technology. So it's like it's more concerned towards seniors, and the application should develop towards the seniors. Should concern about the seniors, as well as emerging system for intelligent transport operation. Much data will be automatically collected and disseminated, and new social and legal issues such as privacy will definitely emerge. And then vehicle manufacturers do not have contingency plans to handle the emerging big data from CV operations in order to protect customer security and privacy, as privacy is the big concern here. It is a big disadvantage. And then coming to the future research, an autonomous vehicle fulfills transportation capabilities of a traditional car while sensing its environment and navigating on its own using such techniques as radar, LiDAR, GPS, and computer vision, with the key distinction being that it is not driven by a human. One of the most significant obstacles to the proliferation of autonomous cars is the fact that they are illegal on most public roads. So the future research should focus on this one. And then user-friendly hardware and interfaces. The connected cars of the future will be very complex, so the further key capability will involve creating the interfaces needed to provide drivers with safe, intuitive, user-friendly controls for the connected cars, especially for the increasing number of the older drivers. Here are some references where we took this data, And then thank you so much for giving us opportunity.